I was knocked down, heard the countdown through the haze, in the face of defeat, yeah. I was ruled out with no bailout, on my own, all alone, left to bleed out. But I rose up from the ground, just like I was spellbound. All the odds were against me, so I picked up the pace, and now I'm in the race. Give me some space. I'm a movement in.
This is Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen, your frank, open, and uninhibited chick. On this show, I share practical of real life experiences on life, relationships, and the business side of life. Lot of love. Now, I'll be focusing on an important topic, which is managing your relationships. Now, managing relationships is no big deal in as much as you understand the simple tips. I'll be right back.
You told me more than once to show you my intention. My brain gets blocked at times, but now somehow I'll give you my attention. You've got to know that I ain't a person.
Now let's look at setting a definition. The truth is that most people start a relationship on the basis of feelings. However, feelings can be misleading. When a relationship is defined between two or more parties, then the relationship will be on a smooth and easy pedestal. By setting a definition, you're communicating that there are boundaries that need to be respected and honored and things are put in proper perspective. I have seen cases, especially when it comes to the opposite sex, of how one party feels betrayed by the other and decided to throw a vindictive campaign around the town, all because the relationship in question wasn't defined. There were no clear terms at all. Like a case of a young man who came to me and said he had been friends with a lady for about 1.5 years. She was good-fearing and had qualities he liked. He didn't ask me if he should begin courtship with her. My response was that he needed to start right away since the lack of commitment meant that he could lose her altogether. I told him to also make his intention known, but to court her for another 2 more years before deciding on marriage. That's important. Now, when we define the relationship, it will help them to focus better and to be more committed. I explained to the man that courtship was the perfect time to discover things about each other and that he was under no obligations to marry her if he realized that he did not like her enough. This doesn't mean that people should take courtship lightly, because people are in cars that you can test drive. They have hearts that break. Absolutely, they have hearts that break. Some people misconstrue friendships for a relationship. When you're referring to somebody, it is simply a casual affair. Now, when you are aware that it's a friendship thing, then stick to the rules of the game and don't overstep your boundary. Don't go starting the emotional roller coaster here because it is not welcome at all. Once you can honor this rule, then you can be assured of a corresponding respect from the other party. Sometimes our emotions get in the way in our relationships. I know that, especially when we really appreciate the other person. Should we ignore the emotions and pretend they never popped up? I will say yes, because really we have to understand and follow the rules of engagement in our relationships. When you realize that your feelings or emotions is beginning to override your sense of reasoning, it is always better to confide in the other party and check if the feelings is mutual. Once you're able to match this with your reality, then both of you can proceed to the next level, which may be starting out on a love relationship. And this will happen naturally and not by manipulation. Did you hear me? Starting out on a love relationship, it's going to happen naturally and not by manipulation. Next, let's look at understanding the psychology. You may need to understand the natural disposition, emotional moods, and mental constitution of the person. It will help you to know how best to deal with them and also to decide if you can tolerate their relationships or not. Also, is the person manipulative, domineering, passive, or firm? I'll be talking about these 4 important personalities: manipulative, domineering, passive, or firm people. Now let's look at passive people. Passive people don't express their disappointment, frustration, or hurt. They say yes when they really want to say no, and we always sacrifice their own feelings, wishes, and desires in order to be accepted by others. Oops! They usually don the victim cap rather than take responsibility of how they want the relationship to develop. Now that's so poor. Now let's look at the domineering people. What they do is that they pursue their goals and ambitions selfishly without any respect for the needs, goals, feelings, or self-esteem of the other person. Now that's selfishness to the core. Domineering responses include name-calling, trading blames, humiliating, and always want to be in charge. The domineering person will always insist on having the last word and may even resort to physical violence, and so you don't want to be with this kind of person. And that is why courtship is very important. Next up, we look at the manipulative people. What they do is that they use indirect and often psychological means to get their way. They use or they seek subtle ways of controlling people, and they are usually appealing to people's emotions and sentiments. What they do is that sometimes they say words like, "After all, what I've done for you, how could you or fail to do this for me?" Or sometimes they say words like, "If you don't stop doing this or that, I will kill myself." Now that's absolute manipulation. Now let's look at the last one, the firm people. What they do is that they speak their mind without fear or intimidation. This sort of people express anger and annoyance in ways to respect the feelings and self-esteem of others. Absolutely, they are very open and frank. Similarly, they cope well with someone else's anger and comfortably and non-defensively. They can also easily initiate, maintain, and end conversations with strangers, family, and friends. How do you see this kind of people? The kind of people that you can stay with. Absolutely. Yes, all right. I'm talking about how you can manage your relationships. Now, I want to talk about creating an open communications. People and differences are part of life, and you must understand this when dealing with people in your life. If you are to avoid situations from spinning out of control, then there should be open communication. The inability to communicate problems and differences often poses a threat to the relationship. So, if by reason you're unable to express your traits in that relationship that you have, looking at the traits like fear, worry, anxieties, or doubt with your partner, then there's an underlying problem. You need to watch out. Living in self-denial in your relationship is very dangerous. When you're struggling with being real in your relationship, it may mean it is time for you to do some re-evaluation. Re-evaluation. Communication is the life of the relationship. I need to know that. It is the exchange of feelings and information. So, when there is no communication, there is no information. When there is no information, there is no understanding. And where there is no understanding, there is no relationship. Where there is no relationship, there is no love. Beautiful. When the communication link is broken, the relationship suffers. It does. Now, looking at the words of Pastor John Hagee, he says, communication is not out yelling or out talking your partner. Intimidating your partner to temper is not communication at all. Communication is giving your partner the freedom to disagree with you without flying into a rage, without pouting for a week or sulking most of the day. Communication is when you're able to talk with your partner and honestly tell each other your psychic makeup, your truest feelings, your deep thoughts, your values, beliefs, and commitments. And if you're unable to communicate this without being interrupted, your relationship isn't worth the effort. That is just it. It's isn't worth the effort. I'll be right back. Let's look at accepting your true feelings. If you are in a relationship and you often express this quietness, then it's a sign that you like peace. I remembered when I was starting out a relationship with a boy in my early 20s. Until occasions I've been restless about giving him a chance in my life. There were some alarming situations that came up within the spirits and I began to contemplate a breakaway. I kept taking the opinions of people on the matter and they were simply saying the same things. Now that's confirmation. To walk away because it's never a good sign at all. So when I eventually saw the face of God concerning it, I was reminded that my lack of peace was a strong indication that I wasn't following His will. Eventually, I walked out and I found true peace afterwards. Relationships really are meant to bring joy and peace to the persons involved. So, if you aren't following God's will, you will feel you're being held captive, physically or mentally against your will. One of the basic elements of a good relationship where God is present is peace. Inner peace. So, my question to you this moment is, does the person in your relationship keep you on your toes? Are you startled when you hear his or her voice? Do you feel at ease when they are around you, even though you have strong affinity for them and actually desire the presence? Now, do you stammer or get fidgety when he or she is around you? Also, do you feel constrained in expressing yourself? You don't have peace at all. These are red lights in a relationship, absolutely. A relationship that is of God and therefore has a solid foundation should and will put you at ease. Everything you say and do will come naturally without any feeling of being pressurized. And so I wrap up with this quote by E. Sue Bloom in Secret Survivors. She says, in healthy development, trust evolves. How do we decide whether to trust? We share a feeling with someone and watch their reaction. If the response feels safe, if it's caring, non-critical, non-abusive, the first step of trust has developed. Now, for trust to grow, this positive response must become part of a relatively reliable pattern. Trust develops with consistency over time. Beautiful quote. So, don't forget you can catch up missed episodes on my blog site, youmattertolife.com, or on my Facebook page, Blue Buttons Communications Network. Do stay safe always. It's bye for now.